As you all know, you get on the bandstand with the Bones and it's 2 or 3 tunes and it's like, get out of here, you know. We don't want to overstay our welcome, and I think that's one thing we used to often talk about. When is it appropriate to sit in, and when is it appropriate to lay out? And I think a lot of Bones players have gotten bad reputations just because they sort of slather the Bones on like mayonnaise on everything, and we have to really pick and choose when it's appropriate. I have a couple places in Grand Rapids where they welcome the Bones, and often I'll play a symphony concert till 10 o'clock, take the monkey suit off and hustle over to the local tavern and sit in with a band for, 1 or 2 tunes. Again, as I say, that's about all, we're welcome for. And so I find myself trying to incorporate the Bones into the drum set. If I'm playing a rock gig or most often a country or folk gig, I'll try to do some stuff going. So these are things you could all experiment with. You don't need a full drum set. But one of the most important things, a skill that we all need to work on is just keeping time. Tapping our foot and keeping a steady pulse as we play. I forgot my hi-hat cymbal, but I still have a little ching ring today. So I can keep my feet going. And then if you want to get a little more complicated, you can maybe get a brush in one hand. Something going with your feet, show people where that pulse is, especially if you get really crazy and start playing odd rhythms, probably those sort of rhythms Joe Burrell heard us playing when Kenny and I were getting carried away sometime. But as long as you keep that pulse, then you can do almost anything on top of it. Some rock and roll, I'd probably have to get a stick in there. Now I'm basically playing like I would on the drum set. I'm using my right hand like it'd be on the ride cymbal or on the hi-hat, while I'm playing mostly back beats with my left hand. Not a lot of people are working the Bones into rock. It's just sort of like the frosting we could put on the cake. But occasionally I'll pull out some of those beats and see if I can work it into original tunes. I have a rock and roll band called the Concussions, and we play surf rock from the 60s, which is really the music I sort of cut my teeth on when I started playing in Nashville in 1964. Nashville, Tennessee in 1964 was kind of a racist place, and my teacher was I like to refer to him as the blackest white guy in the local high school. And he was the only guy that would play in all the black bands with horn lines and dance steps. So the first record he ever gave me was Booker T and the MG's Green Onions. You remember that one?
Oh yeah.
And so I started playing drum set with him. And then I sort of passed him up, and he said, you should take lessons with my teacher. Then I got into orchestral music and sort of lost sight of that early rock and roll influence. And only in the past 10 or 12 years have I been serious about playing rock and roll again, because my day job is playing classical music. And people ask me, do you listen to a lot of classical music? I hardly ever listen to classical music because it's my job. And I've been doing it for 34 years, so I'm always trying to listen to music that I haven't heard before. It's like traveling. We all have our favorite places to go, but occasionally you have to take a chance and go somewhere where you haven't been, and maybe it's great and maybe it's terrible, but you've got to take that chance. It's the same with music. So I guess what I'm encouraging you to do is try to play your bones to things you haven't played to. Try to show your bones to people that aren't aware of the bones and what they can work them into. The latest thing I was thinking, I need to work a way there I can play the drums and the bones with the same sort of bones. So maybe I need to get Steve Wixom to build me some sticks that come out of the end of the bones, or maybe we could make a set of bones that actually had a beaded tip on the end. Because how many drummers are here? I know Tim's a drummer, Terry. Not a lot of drummers. And if you show the bones to most drum set players, they'll say, because it's really not like drumming at all. The stroke that we make with a drumstick is mostly a hinged wrist stroke. And so when you give drummers a set of bones, that's the first, they don't make any noise at all, because it's a really foreign stroke. And then you get some drummers that think, oh, that's going to mess up my drum playing, if I learn some other stroke. So I'm just encouraging people to continue to experiment a little bit with the bones. And last night I was talking about the rudiments a little bit too. And playing the rudiments with a pulse is another good way. Working with a solid pulse, I might work on those flams. Just keeps us honest, because everybody's time tends to fluctuate. And the people that have the best time, I think, feel it throughout their entire body. Some people you see they're moving, and you can sense that they've got that body rhythm going. Other people are very tight, and I think we're almost, at least in my lifetime, I grew up being an orchestral player, and so they don't really appreciate it when you're going crazy on stage in the orchestra. I often say, what if I start crashing the cymbals and never stopped? I mean, who would stop me? It's a very tight type of music. Even in the orchestra, they try to get us to smile, but half the people won't smile, because it's, we're caught between the hired help and the star of the show. Questions about playing? Anything I'm doing that people want more explanation of? I showed a few folks the other night talking about single strokes. Often we get caught up in one hand or the other, but a lot of my playing is based on alternating. Does everybody know what a paradiddle is here? Who knows what a paradiddle is? It's one of the simplest rudiments because it has a name that sounds like it. Paradiddle, paradiddle. So it's a single, double, single, double. If you got your bones right now, try that. Single, double, paradiddle, paradiddle. Tim and I were doing it last night. Sweating like a gospel preacher up here. Try it with me. Right, left, left, left. And then eventually you could double it. So it's just a simple germ of an idea. And when I'm playing fast, I put those paradiddles in all the time. Now there's a double paradiddle, double paradiddle, double paradiddle. So singles with a double at the end. Right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. And these are the building blocks of drumming that I've sort of incorporated into my bones playing. And when you play with two different pair, then you get a little more variety from that hand-to-hand stuff as well.